What's going on, everybody? Liam O'Reilly, Vermont Economic Realtor. Hope you're doing well. Today's Saturday, December 3rd. Last night, I went out and I played some poker. Ended up winning some money, which is great. But playing poker, it got me thinking about a different way to look at the economy and to look at the housing market. Poker's a game of probabilities. You're trying to take all the information given to you and make the best decision possible. Try to make a decision that will work out for you profitably in the future. Very similarly, that's what we're trying to do with this channel, and that's what we're trying to do as we buy real estate. We're looking at all the information that we have. We're looking at what's going on in the economy, and we're trying to use that information to make the best decision that we can with our home purchase. With our home purchase here, and whether you're watching this channel looking to purchase in Vermont or relate this to another market. But at the end of the day, there's no certainties, and as we get closer to a certain situation, we can have a better understanding of where the market is. When I make videos like discussing the downside potential in the Vermont housing market, those are all possibilities. We're not seeing layoffs in remote workers right now. We're not seeing supply exceed demand in the Vermont housing market at this moment. We could, there is a chance, there's a probability that will happen at some point in the future, but right now we're not seeing that. The only thing that's certain is what's going on in the market right now. What are things doing? Things have slowed down. The sales have slowed down. Inventory is low. Affordability is low. These are things that are happening right now, and we can use that to make an educated guess as to what's going to happen in the future. But at the end of the day, it's a probability. And when you watch even experts, when you watch experts or other YouTubers or people making predictions about the future, even if they sound certain, like this is what's going to happen, it's not. If it's something in the future, it's not a certainty. It's like the weatherman. There's the weatherman can say that it's going to be sunny, but it might rain tomorrow. Who knows? And as we get closer and closer to the event that's going to happen, or what you're trying to predict, the probability and the certainty becomes greater and greater. Somebody left a comment on my video the other day that they think the Federal Reserve is going to hike to 75 basis points. I think in my video I said that based on what the Federal Reserve is saying and based on the economic information, it seems like a 50 basis point hike is likely. But at the end of the day, as we get closer and closer to that Fed meeting and the Fed rate hike and the announcement that it's still about 10 days from now, more information, more data, things that the Federal Reserve say could change that probability. And I'm sure the day before the rate hike, people are going to be pretty certain of what the Federal Reserve is going to do. Just like as we look ahead to the spring housing market here in Vermont, there are some risks to the downside. With, as I mentioned, remote workers. I think that's a vulnerability of a place where the Vermont housing market is pretty vulnerable compared to vulnerable to the downside. But there's also a chance that, say that remote work situation happens and people need to leave Vermont to go work at companies that are out of state. If they can't get the price they want for their home, there's a scenario where people decide not to sell and decide to rent out their properties because the rental market is still so strong here and there's not enough housing. That's a scenario as well. There's a scenario where the seasonality, the natural seasonality of the housing market keeps things in equilibrium. Right now, affordability is low, but inventory is also low. That could be a seasonality thing. And then as inventory increases in the spring, even though affordability is low, buyers tend to come out in the spring as well. I mean, right now, everyone's preparing for the holidays. Days are short. It gets dark around 4 here. The weather's cold. Not many people are out looking for homes, but all of a sudden the new year comes around. people want to start, maybe they want to start a family in 2023. Maybe they have a New Year's resolution to buy a property. Whatever it is, that could bring more buyers to the market, even with affordability being low. When you take in the holistic view of the situation and try to predict things out, the further you try to go when predicting things, the less certain you can be with that prediction. I mean, a great example of this is COVID. When you think about 2019, if I was making this video in December of 2019, I would not have predicted that lockdowns are going to happen. I would not have predicted that the federal government is going to, or the Federal Reserve is going to increase the money supply to the degree that they did, that they were going to drop interest rates, that everyone was going to get these stimulus checks. I mean, in December of 2019, I could not have made that prediction. But, in March of 2019 or March of 2020, right before these lockdowns happen, and as you're paying attention to what the federal government is saying, as they're talking about these stimulus packages, you can make a better prediction of what's going to happen at that time. You could probably predict that lockdowns were going to happen in at the beginning of March 2020, and then they do happen towards the end of March of 2020. So, when we look at the economic data and with the videos that I'm making here on this channel, the highest degree of certainty, the things that you should pay most attention to are the things that are going on right now, because those are the things that are actually happening. The stuff that's occurred in the past and what's happening right now is the most concrete information. Than everything else, what's going to happen in the future is all a probability. The video that I'm going to make in the future here, it's probably going to come out next week when I get my new camera, about the 2007-2008 crash and how that affected Vermont. I mean, when you think about all the economic headwinds that happened then, unemployment was high, supply was high, people were getting loans leading up to the crash that you didn't have to verify your income. So they were the home owners were in a worse financial situation. And then banks, it was really difficult to get a loan in that 2008, 2009, in those years. And the housing market in Chittenden County dropped by less than 3%, even with all those headwinds. And the buildup to that crash of 3% in the median home price was very similar to the buildup that we've seen over the past few years. Basically, there was a 3-year buildup of, I think, a 37% increase in median home price in 2007, 2008, and leading up to, from 2019 to 2022, I think there was a 30% increase. So, very similar numbers. Again, I'm going to go more in depth. I'm going to make a video that goes more in depth to these numbers. I want to show the graphs because it's a lot easier when you can visualize it and you can see what's happening. But, looking at that data and looking at what's happened in the past, are there going to be headwinds in the future that are going to cause a 3% drop in median home price or a greater drop? And what are those? What can they be? And until we start seeing data and the current economic environment reflect a high supply, low demand, difficulty to get mortgages. Right now, really what we're seeing is just a low demand environment where affordability is really low and low home buyer sentiment. But what we're not seeing is we're not seeing a high supply environment, and we're not seeing a bunch of homes sit on the market for an extended period of time. Not that there's not homes sitting on the market for an extended period of time. I mean, there are, but inventory isn't shooting through the roof, causing tons of people to be desperate and the home prices to fall drastically. So these are all things that we'll have to look for, and when you're predicting something like that to happen in the future, the prediction, the further out you go, and the further the prediction varies from what's going on in the current market and the current economy right now, the more that probability varies. And so what I'm doing my best to do on this channel is to, to consider these situations and consider these probabilities in the future, but take a look at what's going on in the current economy right now, because that's the most concrete data. Look at what's happened in the past, and try to help you make the best decision given your financial situation. Keep you informed with the market, and let you know really the data that you should hold on to the most is where things are at right now. I'm going to make a video too about the vacation market. I did see a comment asking for more information about second homes and the vacation market and investment properties, things along those lines. I need to do a bit more research on that. But from the whispers that I've heard is currently, the Stowe market, which is a big secondary home market, has really slowed down, especially in that $1 million plus range. But I want to get more data before making a video specifically on that. But I mean, if you want something that you can look at right now regarding the secondary home market, there's a home for sale on Thatcher Road in Bolton, which is a beautiful new construction home. I mean, it looks gorgeous. The views are great, but it's been sitting on the market for longer than I would expect, for longer than I think it would have over the summer or in the spring or last winter. And I think it's a great home. It could be a good opportunity to purchase it, but I think it's just sitting because that secondary home market has changed more than the Chittenden County market has. So anyway, Liam O'Reilly, Vermont economic realtor. I hope you guys got something out of this video. I wasn't trying to get too concrete into examples or predictions, but was just trying to share a new perspective and share how I think about things. I love hearing about how you guys think about things. I love when you guys challenge my challenge me in the comment section, or give me a new perspective, or agree with me or disagree with me. Just hearing from you guys is great. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the description, or feel free to reach out to me directly. All my contact information is below. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.